Have you ever built something badly, then loved it more than something perfect? Maybe it was a wobbly shelf, a messy first website, a cake that leaned to one side, a garden box with uneven corners, or a tiny project that no one else understood. From the outside, it was not impressive. But to you, it felt special. You could see the effort inside it. That feeling has a name, the Ikea Effect. It is the strange human tendency to value something more simply because we helped create it. Not because it is objectively better. Not because it saved money. But because a piece of our labor got mixed into the object. The name comes from IKEA furniture, because IKEA sells a promise disguised as a box. You do not only buy a table. You buy the parts, the little metal screws, the confusing instructions, the moment where one board is upside down, the small irritation, and finally the relief when it stands. By the end, the table is not just a table. It is your table. And that small word, your, changes everything. Researchers Michael Norton, Daniel Moken, and Dan Orley studied this pattern. In one famous set of experiments, people built simple objects, like origami figures or IKEA boxes. Then they were asked how much those objects were worth. The builders valued their own creations more than other people did. Sometimes they valued them almost as if they were made by experts. That is the twist. The object did not become better. The owner changed. The brain does something quiet after effort. It looks at the time, attention, frustration, and small decisions you invested, and it starts treating the result as part of you. The object becomes evidence. Evidence that you tried. Evidence that you solved a problem. Evidence that your hands changed the world, even in a small way. This is why a hand-drawn card from a child can feel more valuable than an expensive greeting card from a store. The store card may have better paper, better art, and cleaner words. But the handmade card carries a human trace. It says, "I made this for you." The IKEA effect is not really about furniture. It is about identity. When you build something, you do not only see the finished thing. You remember the process. You remember the first mistake. You remember the moment it almost worked. You remember the tiny decision nobody else can see. Other people look at the shelf and see wood. You look at the shelf and see a story. That story makes the shelf feel bigger than it is. This is why people defend their own ideas so fiercely. Once you spend time shaping an idea, it begins to feel like yours. A business plan, a logo, a school project, a video title, a recipe, a room layout, even a bad opinion. The more effort you put into it, the harder it becomes to judge it coldly. That is where the effect becomes dangerous. Effort can create love, but it can also create blindness. You may keep polishing a project that is not working because you remember how much time it took. You may ignore better advice because changing the thing feels like rejecting yourself. You may overprice your own creation because you feel the sweat inside it, while everyone else only sees the result. Imagine two mugs on a table. One is perfectly made in a factory. The other is lumpy, uneven, and painted by you in a workshop. If a stranger had to choose, they might pick the clean factory mug. But you might reach for the lumpy one every morning, because your fingers remember making it. The mug is holding coffee. But it is also holding memory. The IKEA effect appears in families too. Parents often value their children's messy drawings because the drawing is not only a drawing. It is a trace of growth. A shaky line becomes a milestone. A crooked house becomes a moment. The value comes from connection, not precision. Companies understand this. That is why some products make you do part of the work on purpose. When you customize shoes, design your own avatar, arrange your own playlist, assemble a meal bowl, build a game character, or name a digital workspace, you are not only selecting options. You are investing small pieces of yourself. After that, the product feels less replaceable. This is also why people love games like Minecraft, Lego, The Sims, and City Builders. The graphics may not be the main point. The point is authorship. A simple block house becomes precious because you placed every block. A digital farm becomes meaningful because it grew through your decisions. The more you shape it, the more it shapes you back. But here is the important condition: the effort must lead to completion. If the task feels impossible, confusing, or humiliating, the effect can break. People do not love something simply because it was painful. They love it when the struggle ends with a feeling of competence. That is why IKEA instructions matter. The company cannot make assembly too easy, or you lose the pride. But it cannot make assembly too hard, or you feel defeated. The magic lives in the middle, hard enough to feel earned, simple enough to finish. This explains why small wins are so addictive. When you complete a puzzle, fix a loose handle, edit a video, cook a meal, or organize one drawer, the result may be ordinary. But your brain receives a message, I caused this. I can make order from mess. That message feels good. And because it feels good, you value the thing that gave you that feeling. There is another hidden layer. The IKEA effect is connected to control. Human beings do not like feeling helpless. When life feels too big, making something small can restore a sense of agency. A clean desk. A planted seed. A repaired chair. A written paragraph. These things are tiny, but they are proof that your actions still matter. That is why a person can be more proud of a simple homemade dinner than a restaurant meal. The restaurant meal might taste better. But the homemade dinner contains choice, timing, risk, smell, heat, and care. It says, I did this. Now think about YouTube, art, business, and relationships. Creators often fall in love with the parts they worked hardest on, even if those parts do not help the audience. A complicated intro. A clever sentence. A beautiful shot. A joke that took 2 hours. To the creator, it feels valuable because it was expensive in effort. To the viewer, it may be invisible. This is the painful lesson: effort is not the same as value. Your labor can make something more valuable to you, but it does not automatically make it more valuable to everyone else. That does not mean effort is fake. It means effort has two prices. One price is personal. One price is public. The personal price is what the thing means to you. The public price is what the thing does for someone else. Confusing those two prices causes arguments. A seller says, I spent weeks making this. A buyer says, but it does not solve my problem. A parent says, I worked so hard for this family. A child says, but I needed you to listen. A creator says, this took forever. The audience silently asks, but why should I care? The IKEA effect makes us feel the weight of our own effort. But it does not let other people feel it automatically. So the trick is not to kill the effect. The trick is to use it wisely. Use it when you want people to care. Let them participate. Let them choose. Let them build a tiny piece. A classroom project becomes more memorable when students create the example. A fitness plan becomes easier to follow when the person designs part of the routine. A community becomes stronger when members help shape its rules. Participation creates ownership. But use caution when judging your own work. Before you decide something is great, ask a colder question: if I had not made this, would I still choose it? That question can save you from loving the wrong thing. It can help you cut a weak scene from a video. It can help you change a design. It can help you stop defending an idea only because it came from your own head. It can help you respect feedback without feeling like feedback is an attack on your identity. Because your work is not you. It came through you, but it can still be improved. The IKEA effect reveals something beautiful and uncomfortable at the same time. Humans are not neutral judges. We are storytellers. We do not only value objects. We value the effort, memory, pride, and identity attached to them. That is why the crooked shelf matters. That is why the ugly first draft matters. That is why a child keeps a broken toy, a founder keeps an early prototype, and a person saves a notebook full of bad ideas. The thing may not be perfect, but it carries proof that someone tried. And once you understand the IKEA effect, you start seeing it everywhere. In the furniture people refuse to throw away. In the projects they defend too long. In the hobbies that become personalities. In the little handmade objects that somehow feel priceless. We love what we build because, for a moment, the world answers back, your effort became real. And that is why a wobbly table can feel like a part of your soul.
Hey viewers, for more such videos, please like and subscribe to us. And comment your next topic for the video you want to watch.